Welcome to Smosh Reads Reddit Stories. Today, the theme is... This story comes from Off My Chest. It was posted in June of 2023. I am battling cancer. I'm gay, but I have realized I love my best friend of 25 years, a man. I need to vent all my thoughts and am looking for advice on whether to tell him or not. Just for clarification, OP is a woman.
Okay.
So I'm battling cancer, I'm gay, but I've realized I love my best friend of 25 years, a man. My dearest friend in the world is a man named James. Not real name, all names and nicknames are altered in this story. I'd try to describe how great he is, but it's honestly easier just to tell you the story. James and I grew up in the same town, a conservative Christian town in nowhere, USA. The first time I met him was on the playground at school. He saw me sitting alone under a tree and came over to ask me if I wanted to play with him and his friends. I said no, but he noticed I was reading a book about space, the solar system to be more precise. So he sat down next to me and asked me which planet I thought would be the coolest to visit. We ended up talking for the rest of recess about what we thought the other planets might be like. And when we went back to class, he introduced me to his friends as my new friend blank.
Aw.
We were inseparable from that point on. It was one of those things where the entire town, our parents included, had us married off by age 8 or something. We didn't understand at the time, of course, but I would go on family trips with his family, stay over at his place, and vice versa, through most of elementary school. Get in trouble for talking during class every day, though not really because the teachers all loved him. This dude can charm his way out of anything. It's unreal. We were best friends. When we finally reached the awkward teenage years and dating became a thing, he asked me to the first school dance, and I said yes. We sort of started dating by default. I don't think we ever talked about it explicitly, but I just started calling him my boyfriend to other people, and we went with that. Very little changed about our relationship. We still basically just did all the same stuff we used to do before, except our parents got stricter about the sleepovers, and there was more hand-holding and cuddling. Kissing and stuff was always difficult for me, and I didn't know why, but he never pushed me on it at all. Not even once. The 2 times we tried, he was able to tell very quickly that I was uncomfortable, and he just shut the interaction down by messing up my hair playfully, saying, enough of that, how about we just watch a movie?
Aww.
I just assumed one day I would get it. Well, I didn't. Sometime around 15 years old, I started to realize the problem. I wasn't sexually attracted to men. This was a very trying time for me, given the kind of environment I grew up in. This was not acceptable. My parents were extremely religious and extremely anti-LGBT. After about 8 months of identity crisis over this, I decided to muster up the courage to tell James before anyone else. I didn't know what to expect. I was terrified. I went over to his house trembling. He had done what he always did, made my favorite snacks, and got the controllers and my favorite game, Diddy Kong Racing. Nice.
Nice.
To be clear, nice. He would get Diddy Kong Racing ready to go. He opened the door and gave me a hug, and I came in. I was so scared. We sat down, and he looked at me for a second before putting his hand on mine and asking me what was wrong. So I tried to tell him, and I got halfway through the sentence, struggling to actually say, I'm gay, before he just interrupted me and said, you're gay. Yes, I know. Is there anything else? Followed by that goofy smile I love so much. I just froze in place. I asked him if he was mad, and he just laughed and told me he loved me the way I was, and this was the way I was. I just started crying and jumped into his arms. It felt like 10 minutes at least. I cried before he finally interrupted me in characteristic fashion, remarking, however, I will be mad if you let the pizza rolls I made get cold, so how about we stop crying and start eating? We stayed best friends after that. We never actually had a breakup talk, but we did start to date other people. We talked/hung out almost every day until we graduated and he went away to a big name college. The night before he left, he came and picked me up and we drove around town and hit all our favorite spots. He drove me back home at 3 a.m. or something in the rain, and I took his hand during the drive home and fell asleep on his shoulder. I remember wondering then for a moment if I should just marry him anyway. But he was going away to college and I'm not attracted to men, so it probably couldn't work no matter how I felt about him otherwise. He promised to stay in touch, but I didn't know if that would happen. Well, it did. Obviously, it wasn't like before, but he made sure to call me every week just to check up on me and see how things were going.
Every week?
Every week.
That's so
And he
sweet.
makes pizza rolls?
And he makes pizza rolls, and
Yeah,
he's
from
goated at
scratch.
Diddy Kong Racing.
No one said it was good.
I said he was goated,
Oh.
which is even better. I went to college close to home. We'd talk about how hard college was, whoever we were dating at the time, and whatever drama was going on. During his junior year, my parents found out that I was gay. They did not react well, and I was basically kicked out of my home to save me. My dad going on about me needing Jesus, 40 days in the desert like a lunatic. My parents are good people, so this didn't last, and they have more than made it up to me since and worked hard to unlearn their bad programming. But that was an awful time. I did what I always do and called James. He talked to me for about an hour and then got his mom to drive up to get me so I could stay in his old room. Then he flew home the next day, pretty much just to cheer me up and make sure I was all right.
What?
Vintage driving around in circles, singing like idiots, and 2 a.m. junk food runs did the trick. I later found out from my mom that he had also gone and confronted my parents / stood up for me and told them they should be ashamed of themselves, and if they were willing to lose their daughter over this, they were unfit parents and not the second family I thought you were. My parents worship him, so this was effective, and my mom still tells this story to this day. Once again, I remember wondering at the time, will I ever know anyone else in my life who would do this for me?
That's crazy. Sorry, this person is like straight out of a romance novel.
This guy.
I was gonna say, this guy's not a human. This is a novel.
Yeah.
She does need Jesus, and here he is.
Yes, this is Jesus.
And here's Jesus.
But he was heading off back to college, and he was still a man, so I didn't do anything. Years went by, he got married, I got a long-term girlfriend. We stayed close the entire time. We saw each other a lot less, but it was still great every time he visited, and we had frequent texts / calls. I looked forward to his visits all year. And then tragedy struck. His wife divorced him. I never liked her, but he did. I think she used him for a green card, and he was too sweet to notice, but that's neither here nor there. He came back home, so I saw him a lot more. Obviously, he was crushed, but we got through it together. And then I got the diagnosis at 27. Cancer. There's nothing I can say that describes the feeling, so I'm not even going to try. Decent chance of survival, but I had to start treatment right away. This experience has changed me and my outlook on life more than anything else that's ever happened to me combined. At first, everyone was there for me. I was getting visitors daily, friends, family, everyone. But as the weeks turned into months, it all stopped. Most people, even my friends, started coming once a week, then once a month, then many not at all. When things were looking bad around the 7th / 8th month, my girlfriend broke up with me, claiming she loved me, but she couldn't handle watching this. Almost 2 years in now, and there's only 5 people who are still here. My mom, my dad, my sister, my BFF Amanda, and James. I almost can't talk about it without crying, but James is here every day. Every day, for hours. He may have missed 20 days in almost 2 years due to work-related travel, and even then he calls me. He comes in and asks how is Amumu, which he's called me since we were kids because I like cows, and those are my initials, and listens. He brings my favorite snacks / treats when I can have them, board games we like to play, old video games on handheld so we can play. He sings to me and shows me pictures of places he's been, I'd like to go, and talks about taking me once I'm better. He sits there and holds my hand in silence so I won't be alone until the doctors tell him it's time to go. Then he does it again the next day. I've never seen him cry or show any sadness. If I even casually say something like, if I get better, he'll immediately interject with, when you get better. He just won't give up on me. The only other person who is still there like this is my mom. Even my dad / sister / Amanda, who have also shown up in big ways, are not this consistent. I could write a whole post about how this experience has changed my relationship with mom as well. She's proven to me that no matter what happened in the past and what we may have clashed over, she loves me like no one else, except maybe James. My mom is the #1 all-time James fangirl. She has been attempting to get me to marry him since I was 7 years old. A long time ago, she stopped that, but about 3 months ago, she made probably her first comment of that kind in around 7 years. I guess there are a few things she said. The first was, pay attention to the people who are still here now. They're the people who always will be. They're the people who love you and not just what you can do for them, which sort of set me off on the whole months-long train of thought that led to this post. Then about a month ago, mom was a little more direct. After James left one evening, she told me, baby, in all my years on this earth, I've never seen anyone love anybody like that boy loves you. I know you don't like it when I talk about this, but trust me, if you ever let him go again, you're gonna regret it forever. I don't know what has changed, but this time when she said that, I just knew she was right. Every relationship I've ever been in has had some problem of or thing that has to be worked on. Most of them have several. The only thing missing here is that I don't feel a strong urge to rip his clothes off like I have with some, but honestly, not all or even most of the women I've been with. But even there, it's different. In general, I find the idea of being with a man disgusting, but I don't find it disgusting with him. I like being touched by him and being close to him. He's so gentle. Lately, I even find myself fixating on his lips and daydreaming about kissing him. I'm not that sexual of a person, and I think overall, of the people I've known in my life, I would be happier with him than with anyone else, and it isn't close. Now, the big problem is the cancer. Honestly, I'm not really on the fence about this anymore. If I survive, I want to be with him. I am getting better, and the doctors are hopeful, but I'm not sure if I should tell him now or not. I want to tell him so bad. I want him to know how much I love him. Lovers have come and gone for both of us, but every time I close my eyes and think about times I felt truly loved, understood, and accepted, it's always his smiling face I see. When I think about times I felt warm and safe, it's his arms I feel wrapping around me like a warm blanket just my size. His voice I hear saying, "Don't worry, Amumu, it'll be all right," or cracking some silly joke. I want him to know that I want him with me by my side forever. There's nowhere I'd rather be than wherever he is, doing absolutely anything. Cuddling up on the couch, making jokes about stupid movies, playing our favorite video games, talking about life till 2 a.m., driving around in circles while he sings boy band songs like a goofball. I don't care as long as he's there, too. I want him to know that if I survive this, we'll be together. That's what I want. That's all I want. He's all I want. But I'm scared to tell him because I don't know what's going to happen. If I don't make it, would it have been kinder to just keep this to myself? If you were him and in his position, would you want me to tell you how I feel? Whoa.
I say not the asshole.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're losing it over here. We're fucking losing
It's
it.
incredible. That's,
Eric, look at you.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Everyone behind the camera is crying.
Incredible.
Eric is sobbing.
To be fair, the only reason I'm not is
Oh my God, everyone's sobbing.
Beautiful. The only reason I'm not
The
is
sound equipment is breaking apart because Scott is sobbing onto it.
the only reason I'm not weeping is, full disclosure, I have heard this before on one of those, like, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 83.5, like that, like TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous.
How many episodes left in the season are there? Like, how many updates? Oh, my, we're about to get fucking wrecked, guys. Whatever happens next is going to wreck the room.
I will say, if there's a perspective shift, and it's like, hi, James writing here, like, that's when we're all gonna just explode.
We'll have to walk out.
Can you imagine?
I cannot handle a perspective shift. I've made it this far.
Mm-hmm. I don't even mean like something happens to her. I'm just talking about
understand.
like, hey guys, wanted to tell you how much I love, it just.
Yeah, because it reminds me of the one where the dad was like, "Oh, I want to leave a
Oliver.
message for my son." I was like, "No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that."
Oliver,
Even
you're
trying
the
to talk
bravest,
about it.
coolest kid. I'm like,
I was like,
My favorite is watching you try to keep it together when you do something. We're like during that one meet and greet, and you're like, "All right, man, let's take a picture."
oh, when the dad was talking about how sweet it was
Yeah,
to
and
like
you go-
watch videos with his daughter.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, it's
Shane
such
was
quality
losing it.
time," and I was like, "You gotta stop it.
He goes, "We gotta take a picture." We gotta take a
Man,
picture.
you gotta cut it out."
you're doing the dad thing of like clearing your throat and swallowing, where you're just like, well, that's that's very nice to hear.
Yeah. Very good. This is very sweet. I mean,
Okay, let's buckle the fuck up. Here we go.
Let's buckle the buck.
Before we continue, any thoughts?
What, do I have any thoughts on the world's greatest story?
Do you want to say anything?
I have nothing to add.
I think they're both ducks.
All I was gonna say is the mom was talking like, "Oh, before you lose him, whatever." I'm like, I think you've got James by your side forever. I was like,
yeah.
I think that's my take. Is I'm like, sure, if you're feeling strongly about this, but I'm like, I think he's gonna be there
Yeah.
for you no matter what.
Yeah, I'll say my thoughts are that too. The mom's a bitch.
She wasn't like, I don't know if the concern was that like, oh, I'm gonna ruin the friendship. It's more like, if something goes south with my health, is it cruel to have done this?
Right, I understand what she's saying there, but I was going back further.
Yeah.
That the mom was kind of being like, "Oh, you need to marry him because you might lose
Like,
him."
hurry up, you're gonna lose him,
And
yeah.
it's like you guys are in each other's
think you're
lives
good.
forever.
This is a love
seems-
that transcends like infatuation and just
But
like.
you know,
Absolutely.
she's feeling that way. OP's feeling that way as well. Where
true.
OP is also, I think that's just no matter what, with feeling this extreme and this amazing,
no matter what, the idea of losing it is there on the table.
Absolutely.
Like, and for OP, it happens either medically or like, just like, what if OP says her feelings and then he's like, no. And it changes what's so beautiful.
But we all know, from what we know of James, nothing's f***ing this up.
Nah.
But I understand the fear.
Of course.
Yeah. It's valid for sure, but I also think like, I don't know, hearing this, you never want to like speculate on someone's sexuality, like what someone says for themselves is true, like that's truth. But hearing her say like, oh, I haven't really felt that much physical attraction for women either in any of the, relationships I've been, it just hasn't really been there. I'm like, okay, well then maybe you're wired that like the emotional aspect is so much more important to you than anything else. Like, maybe there is hope for a romantic relationship.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
clearly love each other so damn much.
yeah, because it's like, hey, you don't have to put yourself in any sort of box. Like, like what your truth is your truth. But if you're feeling something, hey.
The best thing she's doing is not like shutting those feelings down.
Right.
She's like, even though they don't align with the box she originally is putting herself in, she's not letting that stop her. So
Right.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
doing everything great.
But I understand, like, it's got to be confusing.
Yeah,
and scary.
100%.
All right, got some comments here.
Okay, unless it's from Nicholas Sparks, I don't want to hear it. Nicholas Sparks here.
Nicholas Sparks here.
You belong in my new movie.
You're the asshole. Your sexuality can be most women and James. It can be whatever you need it to be. I'm
That's
a
so
James
true.
sexual. James and James Taylor.
I like women and men named James.
And men named James. It can be whatever you need it to be. I saw a nice post from a woman who came to realize after many years of marriage to her male best friend that she was almost certainly a lesbian and wasn't attracted to men, except for her husband, whom she continued to adore. Good luck in your romantic endeavors, OP, and you're going to beat that cancer. Someone said, everyone needs a James. He has been with you through everything, and he has always had your back. Speak your mind and tell him everything. I wish you all the best. OP said, yes, I want to tell him. I'm just worried that if I tell him and then things take a turn for the worst again, then what will I have done to him? Someone said, tell him. I've seen some comments where you say you're worried if things go south, what that will do to him. What I'm about to say is with pure kindness and care. Think of what it would do to him to only find out after. You both deserve to be happy. Whether it's for 1 year or 50, doesn't matter, you both deserve it. OP said, I think this comment really hit me for some reason. Thank you, I'm going to tell him when he visits me tomorrow.
That comment did it?
That's the comment that did it.
It's like,
No, but I agree. That's just
I know.
crazy that we can comment on a Reddit post and change someone's behavior.
but I also think she was looking for permission. Like, sorry for fully.
yeah.
Totally,
but
no,
like,
and I think that person put it in perspective.
yeah. All she needed was a few people to be like, do it.
Yeah.
I'm bracing for impact. I'm ready for the update.
Can I tell you something as a friend with all the love in my heart? There's a part of your hair that looks
I
crazy.
don't care.
Right now. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know.
I'm intentionally listening.
You're
It's great.
looking like how I look a lot of times in these Reddit stories.
Oh,
episodes.
no. You need to read. I don't know why we're talking about anything else but James and OP.
Just a lot of times people post photos of me here and my hair looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
I understand it looks different every episode.
Guys, he's tired. He doesn't
Guys,
go home.
I'm tired. I'm reading.
Okay, let's
When
go.
he's done with this, he has to power the little hamster wheel that keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
You don't have to read the update. they're gonna. Let's talk about dinosaurs some more.
Okay, so shortcake. All right, update.
Okay, here we go.
So tonight I told James. I told him everything. Gosh, I just wish I could relive this night over and over again. I've never been so happy. He came into my room this evening like he always does, greeted me, hello, how's my amumu doing today? I told him I was doing well. He told me I looked beautiful, which is not true, but it still felt so sincere. Then he started unpacking the stuff he brought me today. I asked him to stop and just come sit with me because I wanted to talk to him. He nodded and came and sat next to me. What's up, he asked. It took me a bit to gather myself. I kept getting distracted by his eyes, how he looks at me sometimes. I don't know how to describe it. I told him, I love you. And he just kind of laughed and touched my hand before casually responding, oh, I know that. I love you too. In retrospect, this wasn't the best way to start, I guess, since we've said that enough with a different understanding that he didn't get what was happening. He started to get up again to unpack the snacks, and I grabbed his arm and asked him to let me finish. He looked confused, but he nodded and sat back down. And then I did it. I told him everything. I told him about all the times in the past I had thought about just marrying him despite my sexuality. I told him my favorite memories of him and how they make me feel. I told him he'd always been my best friend and the person I trusted the most. I told him I made a mistake and I should have chosen him. I then basically devolved into reciting the last paragraph of my first post to him. He's the face I see when I think about feeling loved, the embrace I feel when I think about being safe. It doesn't matter what we do. If we're together, I'm happy, and he's the only thing I want for the rest of my life. He basically froze. He said nothing, just looked at me as I spilled everything. I'm not sure he even blinked. When I finished and looked up at him, he was sitting there like a statue with his mouth slightly open. Still enough, it was like he forgot to breathe. James always knows what to say, so this was a little unnerving to me. I started to ask him if everything was all right, but before I could finish, his expression broke. He exhaled into a weak but incredibly tender, quivering smile, and he just reached out and pulled me into a hug. I buried my head in his chest, and his arms just wrapped around me. I just melted into him. He was so gentle, it felt so easy, it felt so right. Then he started crying, and then I started crying. He's been coming here through 2 years of cancer treatment and never seen him cry until now. He held me for a while, but however long it wasn't long enough. When he finally pulled away, his face was red from crying, but he just looked so happy. He looked at me for a bit. It was kind of cute because he had a little trouble maintaining eye contact, which he usually doesn't. He was like a little boy again. Then he finally looked right at me, and he just said, "You're the only thing I've ever wanted." Then I started crying again, and he started crying again, and he pulled me to him, and he held me again. I wish it never ended. A little bit later, once we exhausted our crying capacity, I showed him the post. He made a few jokes about wanting to meet this James guy and about how he had better go and thank my mom for being his wing woman for 20 years, LOL. Then after he finished reading it, he kissed me. It felt easy, not scary at all, and just right. He asked me if it lived up to the daydreams, and I chuckled and said yes. Then he said, I'm not so sure myself. I think I need more data, and kissed me again. He is so ridiculous, but this was smooth as butter. Then after that, we started talking, and I guess he told me everything too. He said he'd loved me since we were little kids, told me he still has every drawing/letter/craft I ever made for him in a safe that he took with him to college and has taken everywhere else he's ever lived. He talked about the day I came out as gay to him and how he'd figured it out earlier, but he struggled to accept it for months in secret because he had lived his entire life up to that point, assuming we would be a family and wanting nothing else. He told me he thought about our last night before college all the time, and he kept hoping that entire night I'd say something before he left, because then he'd have transferred colleges to stay with me. Told me he actually took a very long way home just to prolong the time when we were holding hands and I was sleeping on his shoulder, and that it was to this day his favorite memory. Then he looked at me with those piercing green eyes and said, for me, there has never been anyone else. He loved once me and then struggled through a bunch of rebounds, and even though he had learned to bury it and move on with life and was happy in our friendship, his heart had only ever belonged to me. Honestly, I guess I should have known this. My dad told me he was sure this was true but I didn't listen. But I was flustered and deeply moved. We sat and talked and reminisced some more, mostly about when we were kids. I found out some things I never knew because he avoided telling me how romantic some things were for him after I came out, but I also kind of realized I think they felt romantic to me too. Then I brought up the sex question, and oh my God, it was the cutest shit ever. I barely got to say anything before he started tripping over himself. Like, look, I don't even care. I don't need that. If we need mistresses or something, we can do that. It doesn't bother me. I just want to wake up with you every day, which was sweet. But then I told him that even though I didn't know how that would go, and I might not be able to, I wanted to try with him anyway when I got better. And oh my God, he turned tomato red and could barely look at me. Literally could not even manage to form a sentence in response. Just mumbled incoherently before managing to get out, okay, if you're sure. This man has been married and had 6 girlfriends, but he completely just falls all over himself at the thought. God, it was adorable. This is the only thing I'm still a little worried about, but I do want to try. I mean, I liked the kissing, which I thought was completely impossible. And I know that if it doesn't turn out well, it won't ruin anything and we'll still be together and just figure something else out for that one need. Then we talked about the cancer. He is so sure I'm gonna make it. It's so touching. It took a little while to get him to take the other possibilities seriously. When I finally did, did, and I told him that it's the reason I didn't tell him sooner. He held my hand and told me that if that happens, he'd be okay because he'll always know that he was one of the lucky ones because he was mine. I almost lost it. Then he said, if we don't have that much time left, we better make sure every minute counts. I said, that's pretty... Sorry, I'm only laughing because I'm hearing everyone in this room.
The full. We're losing it. I wish you guys could see what we see. Everyone's done.
I think I'm only not crying because I am driving this truck and my eyes are on the road.
I need you to keep reading.
Then he said, if we don't have that much time left, we better make sure every minute counts. I said, that's pretty hard to do in a hospital. And he replied, what do you mean? We're both here, and that makes this the best place on earth. Dear God, what did I do to deserve this man? I teared up again, and he held me one last time. Then the doctors came in, he kissed me goodnight, we both said I love you, but it felt so different. It's never felt so good to say or hear those words. Then he smiled at me and left. I was so excited, the first thing I did was call Mom, and she was just ecstatic. I think she might be happier than me, which is saying something, LOL. As soon as I told her what happened and that James and I are together, she just started crying and talking about what a good boy he is, how she just knew this would happen, and that she can rest easy now because she knows I will always be loved and taken care of. Plenty of her destiny talk, which is usually gets on my nerves, but honestly, I was so happy tonight. And I'm on board. Maybe it was destiny. I guess sometimes Mom really does know best. I feel like a teenager again. I never thought I'd feel this way in my life. I never imagined if I did, it would be for a man. God, I love him so much. Now I can't understand what I was ever worried about or why I didn't do this years ago. Thanks so much to everyone who read my story and helped give me the perspective and courage I needed to finally do what I should have done years ago. Now, as long as my health cooperates, I'll be one of the lucky ones too, because I am his. All right, here we go. Am I the asshole for singing a song at my gay friend's wedding and outshining him?
This is a lot of outshining, right?
Oof.
These stories here.
That's a good
Why is it
title.
important that his friend's gay? I guess we're gonna find out. But like, why does he have
You don't
to
call all
qualify?
your gay friends gay friends?
Look, like gay weddings, wildly different from regular weddings.
That's starting to be a new trend I'm seeing in these stories is when someone adds adjectives that are completely unnecessary to the story. But
maybe we don't know.
maybe it's important here.
Might
I
be
don't know.
important.
Hi, everyone. This account is a throwaway. You know it's going to be good.
Oh boy.
This is a 25-year-old woman. My friend Mark, a 25-year-old man, married his boyfriend James, a 26-year-old man, last week. The wedding was beautiful and one to remember for sure. However, something happened during the reception, and now Mark is upset with me. So I came on here to ask if I was in the wrong. Mark didn't have any bridesmaids or groomsmen, but he did have a select group of people close to him to help out with the wedding planning, which I was part of. During this stage, Mark approached me and asked me if I could sing at the reception. I have been singing since I was little, so I was honored to be asked to sing at my close friend's wedding. I told Mark that I gladly would. Well, the wedding day arrives, and the reception gets going soon after. After the speeches, I was called up to the front to sing, which, in my opinion, went pretty well. However, during the dance floor portion of the night, Mark came up to me, and it was clear that he was upset about something. I asked what was wrong, and he claimed that my singing took attention away from him and James on their big day. I was shocked. I told Mark that he was the one that asked me to sing at the reception, so I don't know why he was getting so worked up, and that I thought that he and James would have loved it. He stormed off and refused to speak to me for the rest of the night. For the past week, I have been messaging James to no response. I don't know if he's reacting this way to just stress, or if something happened between him and James that he's taking out on me, or if it really is just that my performance outshone him because Mark thought it was too good or whatever. Am I the asshole?
There's
so
we
much
need
missing
some.
here.
There's some context we're missing here.
I sang some song and it went really well, and now everyone's bad.
I feel like there's got to be a detail that matters that's not being mentioned, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Still missing the importance of it being a gay wedding.
Yeah, no, it was that. Yeah, we would have picked that up.
A gay wedding.
So the verdict was asshole, which
With that context, that doesn't.
with what they told, right?
Yeah.
If someone told me this in person, I think I would just be like,
Weird.
huh. I wouldn't be like, oh man, what the frick? They suck. I would not really trust them, but I'd be like, oh, damn, that sucks.
It's not adding up.
But the verdict here is asshole. So I think.
So there's more context.
I think in the comments we are probably gonna get some insight. Someone said, info. Did you agree on songs and length of time to sing, and did you stick to what was agreed? The reason I ask is to try and figure out any way that you could possibly have upset him. On the face of it, the situation is bizarre. OP responded, nope, no requirements like that.
Requirements.
No
Okay,
requirements.
so-
They didn't specify anything.
Okay, but that's leading me to believe that she's saying like a 45-minute
Yeah.
song or something.
She's like, hold on, one more song, one more song.
She like did her whole set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She brought her band.
Yeah, with all her songs.
An
that were-
entire Radiohead album. Someone else said, there's a difference between singing a song and a full-on performance. If this were simply a song, she wouldn't be doubting herself. OP responded, it was just a song.
You know what? That brings up a good point. Why would you even ask, "Am I the asshole?" with what was written there, right?
Yeah.
Like I would, if that was the entire story, there would be no reason to even question, "Am I the asshole?"
Right.
It sounds like this person came
There's
on
some
here
guilt there.
saying, "Please tell me I'm not the asshole, but I'm not going to give you full context that would show you that I was the asshole."
I think there's also, we're still missing context because that first reply from OP that said, nope, no requirements like that, 98 downvotes.
She's being dodgy.
Yeah, and OP responding, it was just a song, 83 downvotes.
It feels like you would volunteer. It was this song. This is the time it
Yes.
was.
Or is
But-
it Mark
all
and his
that-
friends and they found the thread?
Oh yeah.
They're voting it down.
Yeah, 98 times.
Yeah.
Someone else said, info. Did you pick the song choice or did Mark and James? OP responded, I picked the song. 255 downvotes.
It keeps seeming like this person just needs to volunteer what the song was.
Yeah, just tell us the
Tell
song.
us what the song was.
So someone goes, info. How long did you sing and what did you sing?
They're just demanding it outright.
Yes, you were asked. I can't help thinking that there's more here to this story. OP responded, I sang Good Lookin' by Dixon Dallas, which has 244 downvotes.
I don't know that song.
I don't know
It's-
this song either,
It's like a country song.
but we have the chorus of the song. He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck, and then he kisses on my bussy. Call him daddy while I holler. Man, that boy's so damn good looking. Looking.
Yeah, play it.
We want
play
to
it.
hear it.
We didn't want to get demonetized by playing the song, but just look at those reactions. Get ready for a lot of talk about Bussy.
Okay, hold on. I was not expecting like a country song with I've never heard a country twang say bussy.
Bussy.
Say kisses on my bussy.
Kisses
paints-
on my bussy.
Okay, well so now it's making a little bit more
Yeah.
Yeah, and now there's a lot of context of why they said my gay friend's wedding. Like
That's
they knew
true.
exactly
They
what
knew
they
what
knew
the
what they-
problem was.
Did she think this would be like sweet and inclusive, or?
I think this reminds me of, we had a story where a woman wanted to wear a dress to her gay friend's wedding that was all covered in rats and stuff. There's a meme online called like gay rat wedding. And she
Okay.
wanted to wear a whole dress that was like, we support gay rats. And it's once again where it's like, hey, you're thinking you're doing something and you're not.
There should be like a there should be like a subreddit called like when being an ally goes too far or whatever, because
Yeah.
like this is like it's trying too hard to the point that you become like bigoted.
Right. What I love is she's going, he's mad that I outshined him. And it's like,
Right.
no, that's not what's happening here, lady. You
she
sang
was
a
like-
song about kissing bussy.
Wasn't it?
Like that's what happened.
On my bussy.
Didn't she also say that I was just too good?
Yeah, like oh, I was just too good. Like,
I was expecting like Mariah Carey or something.
Right.
man, like there's such a like, unless specified, unless Mark and James were like, hey, sing something nuts, sing something
Yeah.
crazy and funny and stupid, then there'd maybe be some leeway. But they were
Yeah.
just like, hey, could you sing a song?
Right, or if
No,
they
that's-
gave it
She's
home.
saying that?
That's vile.
It would be
That's
acceptable
nuts.
if they gave homework and they were like, hey, just choose any song, just make sure it has the word bussy in it, then we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Just give us that. That's all we ask
Has
for.
to be a
Yeah.
bussy song.
Yeah.
This is just nuts. I mean, yeah, the verdict is very clear on this one.
Yeah.
And what makes her even more of an asshole is writing this post and being in this much. She's not in denial, is what's funny. She
Right.
was leaving out the information so
yeah,
on
she,
purpose.
So
she knows what she
obviously.
did.
Yeah.
Like she thought it'd be like she had to have thought like, oh, this is gonna be funny. Like everybody's gonna think it's so funny.
You sang a song with Bussy in it.
Yeah.
I think you need to go like, okay, I know the exact moment that upset my friend, probably.
Probably the pumping inside me.
Yeah, it could have been
True.
that. It
Yeah.
could have been that. So are we ready?
Yes. Active listening, caps on.
This comes from September of 2025. I gave an escort 3 Bitcoin in 2013, and I still obsessively check her wallet address. I don't know much about Bitcoin, so I'm guessing
It's
you're able
a
to look at
lot
other
now.
people's app, like in the apps, you can see what other people's.
Oh,
I don't know. We'll get into
seems
this.
dangerous.
Okay. This is probably weird, but I need to get it off my chest. Back in 2013, I paid an escort with 3 Bitcoin. It was worth maybe $300 total at the time, so it seemed like a reasonable transaction. Here's the messed up part. I still check that Bitcoin address regularly, have been for 11 years now. Those Bitcoin just sat there untouched all this time. She probably had no idea what they were or how to access them. Recently, I noticed movement on the address. She's been transferring small amounts to Coinbase, probably finally figured out how to cash them out. Do you know what 3 Bitcoin is worth today? Around $350,000. I've watched that address occasionally over the years, wondering if she knew what she was sitting on. Part of me hoped she'd forgotten about them entirely so I wouldn't have to think about the money. But now she's cashing out and I can't stop checking the blockchain explorer. It's like watching someone win the lottery with money that used to be mine. The worst part is I have 0 Bitcoin now. Spent it all back as play money and never even tracked any of it properly. Back then I didn't care about taxes or records, but now when I look at what I let slip away, I realize how badly I handled the whole thing. She probably doesn't even remember me, but she's about to be $350K richer because of a transaction I made over a decade ago. I know this is unhealthy, but I can't stop tracking the address. It's become this weird obsession with what could have been. The thought I could have had so much more money had I not spent it all on futile things. Although I have made some progress in that regard. These days I keep better track of everything because I don't want the same kind of regret to sneak up on me again. Using proper tools like awaken.tax makes it less of a headache because it pulls in my wallets and exchanges automatically. This becomes an ad.
Yeah, whoa.
It's not about fixing the past, but at least I don't have to obsessively check some old address to remind myself what I lost. Anyone else have financial decisions from their past that they can't stop thinking about? This is eating at me, and I don't know how to let it go. Okay,
But it's like not your money anymore.
it's not your money. It was a gamble, which
Yeah.
is what Bitcoin is. It could have been worth nothing by
Right.
nowadays. It happens to be worth $350,000.
And it's also a transaction. It's like it took 10 years, but it's like you paid. It's no longer yours. It's theirs. Like whatever they
Yeah.
did with that $300, maybe they bought a bond or like it's the same thing.
Right.
Right.
He seems to be
Yeah.
aware that, yes, he knows what actually happened, but I know of many stories, some from people I know and most I read online, of people who had Bitcoin and then either got rid of it back in the day or spent it on dumb things or lost it. There's that famous one where that guy had a hard drive with a ton of Bitcoin and he threw it away and he knew the dump that it was put in and he spent like $1 million excavating this dump to try to find it and they never found it. And it's just like, oh, this hard drive has millions upon millions of dollars in it.
Heartbreaking.
You can have Bitcoin on a hard drive.
I'm not an expert on Bitcoin, but it's kind of just data. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend like I do.
Right.
But it's stuff that's worth something. And
Hey, I want to see a Bitcoin heist. Honestly, I kind of want to see.
I'll be honest with you. It's probably happening all the time because
Yeah.
it's untracked. It's not governed. Like that's why it's kind of worth something.
And you know what? Now I want to see. Remember that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where they go into the internet, or maybe they go into TV. They go into
They
TV.
go into a video game?
They go into TV.
Is that
They
it?
go into TV and they're like channel surfing and shit. I want to see digital heist. People go into the digital world and have to like Tron it up.
That's what that new Tron movie should have been about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin.
Literally what it should have. Or like NFTs.
Yeah.
Hitcoin.
That's good.
Bitcoin. That's movie. Let's write it.
Let's write it. Let's make it.
The Italian hit job coin. Wait,
job
hit
coin.
job. No.
Well,
No.
no, but it definitely just sounds like that's the risk you make when you do a transaction of any kind. If you give somebody like the shoes that you have on, like later on they might be worth more, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna regret that, but you never could have known.
Yeah, I think everybody has some version of this in life. It's painful to like see and know.
Right.
But
Hope it was worth it.
that's how things
I'm glad
work.
she's cashing it out now.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Nice. Because that was also risky of her back in the day to be like, I'll accept this as payment.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
thing
that's true.
Because he probably paid her thinking like, this is probably not going to be worth as much as $300. Like maybe, I don't know, but they agreed to it.
Yeah.
But it worked out in her favor.
Wow.
She knew.
Good for her.
She knew. She was a Bitcoin investor. All right, some comments. Just tell people that once you had a $350,000 escort and call it a day. Someone said, you didn't give her $350,000. You gave her $300. You could have easily just bought more Bitcoin for $300 back then. Even if you had, you never would have held it this long, though. That's true. Someone said, I have a friend who is an aging stripper and is struggling right now trying to get out of the business. You can't strip forever. It's a young person's game, so she's trying to transition into makeup school and cosmetology. But it's a real struggle. I have to imagine that for sex workers, it's the same deal. I know you are full of regret, but at the same time, know that you are probably helping someone transition into the next part of their life in an easier way.
I was gonna make a joke about old strippers. It was less of a joke, more like old guys and old girls want old people dancing for them, too. Why are we so ageist?
That's true.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for moving my roommate's insulin out of the way?
Off to an awesome start.
Off to an awesome start. So this is a 27-year-old man. So my roommate, a 23-year-old woman, is a type 1 diabetic, and she stores her insulin in the refrigerator. I decided to throw a huge surprise party for my best friend, a 28-year-old man, this weekend. I knew the party would be a massive hit, and I was super excited to see the look on his face when he walked in. To make the party unforgettable, I ordered a giant custom-made ice cream cake, which needed to be kept in the fridge. When I got home with the cake, I realized there wasn't enough room in the fridge for it. My roommate wasn't home, so I couldn't ask her if I could rearrange her stuff. I saw her insulin, and I thought it would be no big deal if I took it out for a few hours while the party was going on, just to make room for the cake. I mean, I didn't think she would need it during the party since she wasn't even invited. Anyway, my roommate came home unexpectedly during the party, noticed her insulin was missing, and absolutely freaked out. She started yelling at me in front of all of my guests, making a scene and totally ruining the vibe. She went on this whole rant about how this type of insulin spoils quickly at room temperature or something. She went on this whole rant about how this type of insulin spoils quickly at room temperature or something, and she made a big scene of throwing it all out. I looked it up, and I'm 90% sure she was exaggerating. She had to take some emergency insulin she keeps in her room and left the party visibly upset. Now, everyone's telling me I'm the asshole for taking her insulin out of the fridge, even though it was only for a few hours. I think she overreacted, and it's not my fault she came home early. Am I the asshole? It's not her fault she came home early? To find out what you did? Anyways.
Oh my God.
So I've only been on one other episode of this show, and I haven't used this card yet. This is 100% fake.
You think?
There's no way. Because think about the size of a cake and the size of a fridge. Even if we're talking mini fridge. My dad was a diabetic, right? So there was insulin in the fridge. Maybe syringes are separate. Maybe it comes in the syringe. He didn't take out the ketchup.
Yeah.
He didn't take out one thing of soda. There is no way in the size of a fridge that he's like, this tiny one thing has to be the thing that moves to make room for the cake.
Do we know how much insulin there was? Because
A month's
maybe
supply is just like a bottle.
Well, she had to take emergency insulin, which means I think like
And what does that mean? Does she have a fridge in her room? I'm serious. Like that's why I think this is fake.
I don't know. I mean, look, we don't know. We never can know if they're fake or real or not.
That's true.
But let's just run with the idea of it being real. It
Okay.
is insane.
Sure.
Yeah.
As taken as real, that's insane to do, right? Like,
Of course.
And I would say what makes them an asshole is even if it doesn't spoil fast, it's like you still didn't know that for sure when you made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, this person clearly doesn't know much about like any medication that needs to be refrigerated. Like I worked at a pharmacy, and you have to be serious about it. Even if you think you're 90% sure that they're exaggerating, that it might be fine. What if it wasn't? Then that's like that person. You put that person's health aside for a cake that probably, unless it was like an ice cream cake, would have needed to be, or like it's a party. Did you not have a cooler where you could put other stuff?
Yeah.
Like, and you couldn't even text this person? Like, I'm so shocked.
That's wild.
Yeah, look, but I will say, it seems impossible to be real. There are people who are just the right amount of dumb and the right amount of selfish to do this.
'Cause
Yeah.
here's the wild thing about this to me too. Say for instance it is real. I've had situations with roommates that I like didn't always get along with, but like they would use one of my pans or something. And say for instance they cleaned it with the wrong thing. I come back and the Teflon's all chipped off, and you'll have the conversation of like, hey, I'm sorry to do this, but you kind of botched the pan. They're like, all right, I'll replace it. Like even if someone is a jerk, if they're like, hey, you ruined my thing, you didn't know it, but you ruined my thing, they'll usually be like, I can at least understand that. For this person to be like, okay, well, I Googled your medication.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Like,
and
didn't
the whole like
even-
I'm 90% sure she's exaggerating. Like it's just like, dude, come on, man.
Just
And she
huge.
said something and she ruined the whole vibe. It's like, bro, come on.
No way.
So the OP responded to a bunch of people and commented a bunch of stuff, and someone summed it all up, and they go, OP's comments have all been removed by the moderator, it looks like, but he left one saying that they didn't have fridges in historical times and diabetics were fine. For historical context, if you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes prior to the 1920s or so, you would almost certainly be dead within 3 months. He also seemed convinced somehow that insulin is essentially just a vial of sugar water. If this is real, Jesus tap dancing Christ, he's a moron. I mean, if this person's in the comments arguing with people, this might be real and this person might be that stupid.
Yeah, or just like that. How old is OP?
27. This is the thing though. Look, it's okay to be stupid. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I use that as a comeback all the time.
It's okay.
It's okay to be stupid.
It's okay to be stupid. It's okay to not understand how most medications work. All you have to understand is just really like, hey, whatever their rules are for their medications, follow that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's to stay in the fridge. That's for their life. Okay, fine. I don't understand how it works. I don't get it, but I will keep it there. But that's the breaks. Like,
Yeah. It's possible OP like removed a bunch of other stuff out of the fridge too, but it was the insulin that they're talking about. I just still can't get past not even trying to call or text and ask, or looking up like this precise stuff, or like you said, taking out like the milk. Like I don't know.
I imagine
anything.
maybe they're in a rush and they just took out some stuff, set it there, and like didn't. I bet they didn't even think
That's
about it.
the
Right.
only
I think
way
they
I
just.
could see
I think
this
they
being
just
real.
grabbed stuff out and they just put it out, and then later we're like, oh, I took out his insulin.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh well, whatever.
But then we're dealing with another scenario where they are so unable to recognize making a mistake and taking accountability for
Right.
that. Like, for me to sleep well tonight, this has to be fake. And if it's not, if this person
might
is
not
around, they could be breeding. They could be. We gotta stop this.
Yeah.
Clearly throwing parties.
Yes, someone else commented, yes, ruining the party's vibe because the medicine that keeps you alive was ruined is a real
Yeah.
bummer. And someone said expensive medicine. Insurance
Yeah.
won't cover the replacement.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mine is $800 per bottle without insurance.
Yep.
OP better be ready to pay up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope I would be interested to see if this was ever on Reddit or updates later of like, am I the asshole for not giving my roommate $800?
It is recent. It's somewhat recent, but no update.
I truly like wouldn't feel safe living with someone like that.
Hell no. Oh, I mean, if this went down as they said, there's no way they're still living together.
No.
Oh, I would get
Because
out.
at the very least, like, maybe the person whose insulin expired would have said like, "Hey, you need to pay me back for this," and the other person would have been like, "No, screw it, absolutely not,
Yeah.
no." Like,
Oh, that's an ender. That's
that's
a-
Ender's Game right there.
And I'm glad that she made a scene in the party. I mean, it wasn't even making a scene. She was reacting validly about what happened, and I'm glad everyone saw and thought that he was an asshole. I love that for him.
But that's his friends, unfortunately. They're probably just like, "Whoa, that was crazy back there."
No,
wasn't
well,
it?"
he's saying everyone was calling him an asshole.
Everyone's
good.
telling me I'm the
Yeah.
asshole. So everyone at the
Oh,
party
good.
saw that and was like, "Bro, why'd you do that?" Like,
Yeah.
I guess there was another comment. Like, there was some more context in the comments that it was a shared fridge and there was one shelf for this roommate with their stuff there. So like, it looks like he didn't want to take out any of his stuff. So
Oh, because he had to keep his beer cold or whatever
Yeah,
for the
probably
party.
had a lot of stuff for the party, so he
Oh
probably was
my
just like,
God.
"Oh, all my roommate stuff goes out."
Wow.
Awful person.
Man.
Let's move on. This comes from the subreddit that I've never seen before, long distance. Subreddit probably for long distance relationships. That actually seems like a really good subreddit. This was posted in October of 2025. I, a 21-year-old woman, love my long-distance boyfriend, 21-year-old man, but I'm ashamed of how he looks, and it's eating me alive.
Oh.
Okay. I, 21-year-old woman, never thought I'd be the kind of person ashamed of someone they love, but here I am. My long-distance boyfriend, who's 21, came to visit me at college last week, and instead of feeling excited, I felt anxious. The physically sick kind of anxious about being seen with him. No one here has ever seen him before. I've always refused. When he came, I took him to spots I'd never even been to, just so there was no chance of running into anyone I knew.
Oh, God.
I wanted to show him my world, but not really let him in. The thing is, I don't even think he's that bad looking. He just has a weird beard, yellow smoker teeth, and an awkward body shape that doesn't do him any favors. Still, I'm genuinely attracted to him. I wouldn't be as intimate with him if I wasn't. The sex is amazing. I just also know he's not on the same level of attractive that people expect when they look at me. For context, I'm 5'3", skinny yet curvy. I have a big ass, flat stomach, 34 double D chest. I have white, straight teeth, clear skin, done hair, perfect makeup. I look good in tight dresses.
This is crazy.
Laser vision. I can fly. I take pride in that. I work hard to keep myself put together because my world requires it. I'm in PR. I'm in a regionally and nationally recognized sorority, specifically my chapter for how amazing we are. My life revolves around image, presentation, perception. So yeah, when I'm standing next to someone who doesn't fit that image, the disconnect feels huge. He's short, 5'8", thin, smells like cigarettes, and has that slightly offbeat look that makes people stare a second too long. God damn, bro.
Did she like this person?
She does
She
not.
said the sex is
She
amazing.
does not. She does not.
I know I'm more conventionally attractive than him, and I know people who would look at us and think, why him? I can't bring him to the galas I attend or with me to the conventions where I win awards. I'd be taller than him in heels, and people would be like, what the f***? He just can't be the man on my arm because he doesn't fit the role. That's why I don't tell people about him. I never call him my boyfriend. He's always just a guy I talk to. No one truly knows how emotionally connected we are. Everyone in his life knows me. They know he loves me and would do anything for me. His family, his friends, they all root for us. But on my end, if someone asks if I'm seeing anyone, I say I'm single. I act like he doesn't exist. And yet he does. He's fun, gentle, and endlessly loving. He's my boyfriend even if no one knows it. When one of my coworkers accidentally saw us, she went back and told everyone how short and chopped he looked. He asked why I'd waste my time on a bartender when I have so much going for me. She also said she couldn't believe I'd let someone like that defile me. I laughed it off, but it hit harder than I wanted to admit. The truth is, I've spent years mastering how to be seen. I know exactly how to dress, smile, and move through rooms where being admired is currency. He's not built for that world, and somehow he's also the only person who's ever really seen me. I don't know how to make those two versions of my life exist at once. The one the world applauds and the one that's actually real. I hate that I hide him, and I hate that I care this much about what people think. But I do, and it's breaking my heart. Okay. Damn. Number one, damn.
Okay, got that out of the way. Thank you.
I'm trying to separate. There's the part of me that's hearing this. I'm like, this is awful. You're
Yes.
awful. I'm also like, this is an anonymous post where you're confessing that you know this is awful. I think
Sure.
she's reconciling with, there's an awful part of my brain, and I'm hating it.
What's the awful part of her brain?
That she loves this guy and like she feels the attraction, but she cares more about society's view of her.
I think
than
it's
her actual
yeah.
feelings.
I think that's just the latter. Like just the second part of what you said, I think, is the awful thing in her brain that she needs to remove, which is the idea of what other people think. I think that is what's ultimately stopping her, because she's saying the sex is amazing, she is attracted to him. It's that thing that's like, would you rather be with the person that you find super, super attractive, but the world thinks is unattractive, or the other way around?
Yeah.
And she, I think, would rather the opposite. She wants the world to see her with this conventionally attractive, large, masculine man. And even if she would
was
like be
miserable with
unhappy,
him.
she would be like,
Yeah.
well, at least appearance-wise, we look as if we are prim and proper. And that's what she cares more about.
It also feels, a part of me feels like, honestly, it feels like she's projecting a little bit. She doesn't know what other people think of him. It sounds like what she thinks of him, what she's thinking other people, it's her own. Has she asked people what they think he looks like?
Her one friend saw him and said he's short and chopped.
Yeah, short and chopped. That's true. That's true.
And she
Yeah.
said, I can't believe you'd let someone like that defile you.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Which
but it
is-
hit home.
yeah.
But it's like it hit her own insecurities of what she's thinking everyone is
Yeah.
thinking, what she's putting on everyone else. And
Totally.
it was confirmation bias. It's exactly what she wanted to hear.
Totally.
She's like, oh, so they do think my worst fear, which is he's not attractive enough.
She's the part of her brain that's viewing a partner as an accessory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is just an accessory. It's like, this is you. You're only thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
She seems to be kind of admitting that.
Yeah.
I think so, but I wonder what would happen if all the people in her life were like, oh my gosh, he's so attractive, he's like so great for you. Like, would that flip something in her head, or would she be
wonder.
like, they're lying to me and not
She might-
accept it?
yeah.
On a human level, it sounds like they chemically connect. It sounds like that part isn't what she can control, but she's observing and analyzing it. She's zooming out and looking at herself with this guy and being like, this doesn't fit, it doesn't look right, I need somebody else, somebody different. Her priorities, I think, are just off. And she cares too much about other people and what they might think about her relationship.
And her network sounds awful, right? Like, what her friend said immediately is so horrendous. If she woke up tomorrow and she didn't look as perfect as she looks, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like your entire friend group would abandon you in a second. It doesn't sound like he would. I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Sounds like he truly loves you, but your network doesn't.
Yeah.
They view you as an accessory too.
And unfortunately, she values that. The way that she speaks about her extracurriculars, like her sorority, like she has value in it being nationally recognized. She has value in her having perfect makeup. Like, I think those are the things that she's putting on a pedestal. But when I hear that she is describing herself as single and not even calling her boyfriend, it doesn't seem like a badge that she's proud to wear. She doesn't actually love this person.
Right.
Because if you love them, then you'd want to flaunt them. You'd want to be like, I'm so happy in the position that I'm in.
Yeah.
And she's hiding that.
Well, I was gonna say the way that she talked about herself, I think she has a lot of pride and a lot of self-love and a lot of a sense of accomplishment and drive. And the way that she talked about him, it was just like, I guess he's kind of attractive. I know he loves me.
It's hard to know from her description because she doesn't give us much besides like his appearance.
Exactly.
And just being like, I don't like his appearance. It's like, she does talk about him being like, he loves her and cherishes her. It sounds almost like what she wants is like, oh, but the love and cherishing isn't as important to me as like the shallow stuff. It's
Or
like,
just like that's a basis.
true.
Right. But there's nothing that she's able to pull about him. There's no information that we got of, oh, and he's great with his family. Oh, I love the way that he jokes
Touches
around.
me, sends me gifts. The way
Yeah.
he spends time with me.
There's
the way,
no specificity
No.
in, like, it just
was
doesn't
nothing.
sound like the way you write about somebody that you love.
It just sounds
true.
like she's comfortable.
If this was a friend of mine and she was saying this, and I'd be like, if you really love this guy, like, he deserves better than this.
Yeah.
Like, you, whether you love him or not, you're not really loving him. You're treating him so awfully. Like, to hide someone like that is so cruel.
Yeah.
If he knew this,
If someone was embarrassed to be with me or embarrassed to see me out or embarrassed to have me in front of their friends, I would not want to be with that person.
Right.
Right.
I would at least deserve to know you felt that way.
yeah, and you add the layer, like, this is long distance. Like, there's a sacrifice being made here.
Yeah.
Of like he's somewhere else like committing to her, and it's just like if he. Don't do this to him.
It's
you know?
a disservice
let him
to
go.
him. Yeah. And also, I mean, the qualities in which she describes as well, it seems like it's the connotation that she's placing on it, right? She says stuff like his height, his like body type and stuff, which another person could appreciate and love.
Yeah, man.
Like they
That's
could
so
be like,
true.
oh my God, that's the perfect height for me. Oh my God, that's the body type that's flattering next to me. Like you're robbing him of the opportunity
Right.
of finding his perfect match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's sad. I mean, she's young, so hopefully it's time to like grow out of it.
How
But
old is she?
She's 21. But
Oh,
it's like,
they're both so young.
They're both so young, but it's just sad that like, and you see it a lot in LA of just like, they're viewing themselves as like ranking themselves based on their appearance. Just like, you can let that go.
Yeah.
And you'll feel so much better the more you're able to let that go. Like,
Yeah.
She's imprisoning herself in this shallow world.
And look, I get it, right? Like it's college, right? It seems like it's the university of, you know, looking to your friends and being like, how do you perceive me? And
Right.
am I cool? Am I nice?
Yeah.
Am I this kind of person? So I think she's just placing a lot of value on her status right now.
Of course.
So she's looking at it rather than just being present and being in it.
Yeah, I respect her honesty. I mean, obviously it's an anonymous confession, but like it's a valuable thing to like say this all out loudly and transparently, because we can't pretend like society doesn't every day like push this on all of us, right? Like we're fed this every day. And so she's struggling with that, but I think she needs to let that guy go because this is awful.
Yeah.
Comments. Someone said, honestly, let him go and find someone that actually appreciates him and loves him for who he is and wants to show him off to the world, because that's what people deserve. OP left a comment saying, I showed him around my campus job because it's one of the coolest buildings, and every single last one of my coworkers gave me that "are you sure" look. One called him a troll, the other called him an ugly rat, and another said a school shooter on heroin. Now, as ugly as I may be aside from the comments, those were unprovoked statements from people, my coworkers, and it low-key did hurt because I do really love being with him. It's hard to shake comments when it's being thrown in your face, and rudely at that. There are many more things that were said, but I feel like those really stuck out to me because those were odd things to say. When I came back to work and asked who's on the rotation and then get a response, then how was your weekend with your ugly rat? Like, that's a crazy thing to say to anyone about anyone. Like, I'm not delusional on this part. That was plain rude, but I digress.
Okay.
Is this campus in hell?
I also need to know what she is saying. I need to know what she's saying because there is no way in that 3 different people would say that about, it does seem like hell.
Yeah.
So I need to know what she is saying about her boyfriend or what she
Right.
has said in the past that she's bringing them in and they feel comfortable enough to say this.
Truly, yeah. What's
How
the
is she-
preface?
Yes.
Like,
what-
oh, guys, like, I'm bringing my boyfriend around. Like, he is, like, you know, not very attractive. So, like, when you see me with him, like,
She's setting him
you
up
know,
for failure.
Right.
Yeah.
As
It's not
opposed to,
fair.
like, I just feel like you're right. Like, who would genuinely say that?
No.
If you brought your partner with no other words said before, even if they were, like, not as attractive as you in somebody's eyes, I don't think your coworker
No.
would say something like, oh, who's this ugly rat?
People are not that malicious, and no.
There has to be-
I believe in the good of humanity.
Yeah.
I
No
get
way.
that. There's something suspicious of just like all of these people just like said the worst thing.
Troll and rat and heroin shooter. No.
Unless you're literally bringing a rat to the
Yeah.
campus,
Yeah.
like, I don't think anybody would speak up and say their truth.
It feels like she was dreading him coming and like wanted to like put out feelers in the warning, being like, oh, he's like kind of like it's just like I'm like yeah. And I've had this experience before where people, I mean, especially in college, people are like, my boyfriend's coming in town. He's so annoying. Like we're doing long distance. Like they're setting them up for failures. Like I'm not gonna be with him forever. Like it's just like we're like right now, and
Yeah.
or this happens all the time. The breakup trip. They come so they can break up with each other in
Yeah.
person, and then they leave. Or even like that long distance that happens. It's like you go to their city, and then they break up with you and send you home.
And you were kind of saying this earlier, like she's trying to find every excuse to be like, I'm gonna break up with this guy. It's just like,
Yes.
just break up with him. Good God.
And she's
Don't
putting up
put
like
him
a
through this.
defense as well. She's like,
Yeah.
before you all judge me, I need to protect myself and judge myself and my boyfriend first, so then all of you can't come up with any of these crazy things. And no one was gonna say anything, but she is feeling all of these things and she's bringing them out. And before anyone else can say it, she's calling him an ugly rat and a troll.
Oh.
A school shooter on heroin is crazy work.
Crazy
It's criminal
thing
work.
to say. That is awful. Wow. Well, there's no update or anything, but sounds like a miserable mindset to be in.
Awful.
I can't imagine.
And I'm sure this man's is not that beat.
I'm sure if we saw him, we'd be like, that's a normal man.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's the asshole, I guess.
Yeah, so she sucks. And they also say 5'8", 5'7", they say that's the best height in general. They say that.
See, that was what I wanted to say.
And they did mention that, so. And he smokes cigarettes, which means he's cool as f***.
True.
5'8" guy smoking cigarettes?
Mm-hmm. And yellow
Coolest
teeth,
man.
you know,
And yellow teeth
he's been
and-
using them.
Yeah, he's been using them.
It's good.
And he uses those.
Yeah.
I think no matter who she ends up dating or marrying or whatever, she's gonna struggle for the rest of her life if she doesn't get out of this headspace, because people are gonna have things to say at some point, or you're gonna worry about what people are thinking at any point. If you're letting that govern you, you're screwed.
She's gonna need that approval with any partner.
Oof. All right, moving on. Today I f***ed up by not flushing a yellow jacket in the toilet, causing my guest to get stung in the balls. No. So this is revenge because it's the yellow jacket's revenge.
Oh.
Today, to my horror, a yellow jacket got in my apartment. I got insanely lucky in that when I saw it, it was sitting on a magazine at an easy height to trap. I thought fast, grabbed an empty glass, and slammed it on top of the thing, screaming internally and praying not to trigger its rage. I looked around very carefully, but thankfully didn't see any others. Meanwhile, it had started going berserk in the glass, so I worried the second I took the top off, it would fly out and exact revenge on me. However, just leaving it under the glass made me incredibly squeamish. I hate bugs, I didn't want to see it, I didn't want to hear the staticky sound it was making, I just wanted it to be gone from my life and to pretend none of this had ever happened to me. I considered moving it to another room where I wouldn't have to look at it, but I kept catastrophizing situations where it got out. I could forget it was in there and pick the glass up, or someone could knock it over, or any number of things. So finally, I, very carefully, picked up the glass and the magazine underneath it. I kicked my toilet open with my foot, and bam, I dropped the whole thing in there. Magazine, cup, all of it, and slammed the lid down as fast as I could. I didn't want to risk lifting the cup and letting the yellow jacket escape before I got in the toilet. I had considered trying to shake up the cup until it died or became disoriented enough to be docile, but I couldn't escape the feeling that my dumb ass would lose hold of the magazine and then the motherfucker would be loose and extremely agitated. I didn't flush, of course, not with a whole-ass magazine in a cup in the toilet, but my logic was eventually the yellow jacket would fall into the water and drown. So I'd open the toilet in a day or two. I've got a bathroom in my room and a guest bathroom to fish out the items and flush the bug corpse. So I recovered from the heart attack for the most part and settled down to watch some TV. A while later, a friend texted that he was in the neighborhood and asked if he could come over. I said, sure. We had a beer, watched some Olympics. This is a good friend, a close friend, not the kind who asks if they can use the bathroom when they're visiting. So a while into the night, he gets up. I don't think anything of it because we'd both been getting up periodically to grab snacks, plug our phones in, whatever else. Before I realized it, it was too late. I heard the door close and I started to call out, oh, hey, you should actually use the other one, but he didn't hear me. All I heard was a strangled, ah! Then a crash. And then the door flies open. My buddy falls out, naked from the waist down, crawling backwards, screaming, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? And clutching his testicles. I had to control myself and tap into my more humane urges because with the knowledge that thing was now loose in my not very large apartment, all I wanted to do was leave. But I had to help my friend up. He was in serious pain. Then we had a real dilemma because he didn't want to put his balls away, but we also wanted to get out of the apartment and go into the hall or outside, safe from the yellow jacket, which at that point was out for blood and could have been anywhere. My ability to remain calm in the crisis was not helped by the fact that he was attacking me the whole time. He thought whatever had just happened was some kind of up prank because there was random garbage floating in my toilet and he felt like he just had an electroshock to the dick. He was hitting me with his free hand and going, "Why was there a book in there? Seriously, what did you do? That really hurts," and on and on and on. I told him there was a bee in there, there was a yellow jacket in there, and his twisted mind jumped right to my having done it deliberately. So half naked, and I'm assuming still in searing pain, he tackles me. He's yelling, "You sick f***, why would you put a bee in there?" And all this other stuff. I was too horrified by trying to keep my friend's from touching me while simultaneously trying to locate the yellow jacket again. Finally, we realized we'd seen it fly out of the bathroom, so it must not be in there, and we locked ourselves in and calmer heads prevailed enough for me to explain the whole pathetic situation. The yellow menace managed to get him in the neck as well, so he was subjected to an overwhelming amount of pain head to toe, but he wasn't allergic or anything, so he was able to get home just fine. An added awful bonus to this up of mine is that while I do know how to tell yellow jackets from hornets and hornets from honeybees and so forth, I didn't know they don't all leave stingers behind. And I was taught that if you're stung, the first thing to do is remove the stinger by any means necessary to stop the transmission of venom. So I spent a good 10 to 15 minutes massaging my buddy's ball sack until we thought to Google what happens if I can't find/remove yellow jacket stinger, and learned that they rarely leave anything in the skin. So it was a painful and awkward night all around. The yellow jacket is still in my apartment somewhere. I f***ed up the moment I didn't just kill the thing when I had the chance. Stay safe out there, Reddit. What, can I? Okay.
Yeah.
Primary. What's everyone's primary question?
My primary question.
I think we have the same.
There's a lot of questions.
I think I have the first question I want to ask.
My first question is, you're so worried about this yellow jacket, your strategy is to throw objects into a toilet.
A thing that can fly.
Right.
And also, when you have a toilet, there's like the actual seat you sit on and then the lid, but there's a little gap between the seat and the actual like toilet bowl.
Very easily climb out.
Are we allowed to say this, Bailey, that this obviously did not happen? Are we avoiding saying that?
I think you're allowed to say that.
Okay, so because there's so many logic things where he's like, I have a very tiny apartment, but I have 2 bathrooms, and I didn't want to leave the thing in just the cup because someone could knock it over. But apparently I live alone and have a second bathroom, therefore I just threw it in the toilet and we'll use the second bathroom. Like you didn't want to leave it in the cup and go to the other bathroom yourself.
And I'm sure your question, Shane, is our guest going full naked to like piss or shit or something and then didn't look in the toilet before doing anything?
There's that. My question,
different questions.
My earnest question was, I'm like, okay, maybe the stinger was left in his balls. Why do you have to be the one to massage the balls?
Yes.
I'm like, your buddy can massage his own balls.
His balls got stung, so I sucked his penis a little bit just to try to get him to calm down.
I wanted to get the venom out. And
I gotta get the venom out.
A lot of venom came out.
I saw this on House, don't worry.
So he does answer that question. It's because his friend is in so much pain that he's like, they think that he doesn't have the vantage point to be able to find
Okay.
in his balls.
I've never been stung by a yellow jacket, to be clear.
Neither have I.
Is it so much pain that he literally cannot function and cannot?
It sucks. Have you ever gotten like a shot at the doctor when like it's a newer person still learning and they kind of hit the muscle and it's got that like twinge?
Yeah.
It's like a bug bite with that. Like it's not fun.
I was gonna say, like, I thought a bee sting and yellow jacket sting, it's like the sting hurts, but it's not like you're left in writhing pain for hours.
Is it like a jellyfish where you're like,
Because if it's like, a man of war got all over me, I'm like, yeah, we need to go to the hospital.
Right. I mean, I got stung on like the back of my knee when I was a kid by a yellow jacket, and it sucked, but like you continue on with the day. I will also say that like when your vulnerable bits get hurt, the last thing you want to do is be like, I'm gonna air it out for the more danger. Like I'm like, you would probably put that back in your pants.
Come back!
Yeah. Like you would probably put your pants on and not tackle your friend assuming they sicked a bee on you.
This feels like what I think happened here is I think some version of this really happened, and then he just added a bunch of creative writing to it.
Realistically, he and his friends saw a spider, and that's just, he's like, wait a minute.
I could see someone trapping a yellow jacket and doing the thing where they throw that in the toilet and like shut the lid.
Sure.
And just, because some people just don't make the right moves.
There's also a pressure situation where like you can't just throw an upside down cup into water and have it be like, oh, it's gonna fill right up.
Right,
No,
it's
it's gonna be like,
gonna go
boom, and then the yellow jacket flies out.
Yeah.
And if the yellow jacket is drowning, it's gonna crawl up on your magazine or book or whatever as like a little Titanic situation, but the door is big enough.
Oh, yeah.
Where it loses credibility is he's going around his whole house, and I'm like, you didn't go out your door?
Yeah.
You went everywhere in your house with this yellow jacket. You didn't go outside.
I was just so frightened.
You could throw it.
You could honestly go leave if you're afraid to just open it up. I'm like,
Just leave it
go
outside.
leave it outside.
Yeah.
And then some poor person is gonna walk by and accidentally kick it open. and
What's
then,
this?
Yeah.
Oh, free upside down cup and a bug. I do that all the time. Bug on a bathroom door and you go outside. It takes just a minute. And if you're so terrified of yellow jackets that you're shaking and you can't do it, you wouldn't forget. You would warn your friend.
Yeah.
I'm mad about this now.
Some comments. I was too horrified by trying to keep my friend's from touching me. And then I spent a good 10 to 15 minutes massaging my buddy's ballsack. What happened to your resolve? OP said there's needless contact and there's stop the transmission of poison contact. I sucked it up. Yeah, this isn't real. Someone said, is he okay now? I can only imagine the pain. OP said, he's all right. Thanks for asking. He's in a shit ton of pain, but put a call in with his general practitioner's answering service who basically recommended home remedies or gutting it out. And obviously to watch for X, Y, and Z, then come in if they occur. I've been worried, so I checked in on him, and his last update was that he was going to try and sleep in hopes it's somewhat better in the AM. His girlfriend's over trying the home remedies out, so I'm happy to know he isn't having to cope alone at least. Fingers are crossed for a speedy recovery.
The girlfriend's like, hey, your balls have already been massaged today. haven't they?
Your balls look mighty
Really?
massaged right
Yeah.
now.
I was thinking the opposite of like it's a
massage.
stupid plan where it's just like, oh my God, Bennifer, thank God you're here. Someone needs to massage his balls or they're gonna fall clean off and we don't, and my hands are, ooh, they hurt. Can you?
Someone said, you are no longer friends. War has made you brothers. Look, there's a world where this is real. I don't know. Some people are ridiculous.
You can say dumb.
This guy's definitely dumb.
Yeah. After 15 minutes, we were like, huh? And then we found out yellow jackets don't even have honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it reminds me of the Three Stooges episode where in all their antics, they end up sucking all each other's
You got me with that one. You got me with that one. You got me with that one.
Let's move on to the next one. Am I the asshole for teaching my daughter period hygiene on a family cruise? Woo! Hi, I'm John.
There we go. I was like, why is this going to be an issue? And then 2 words in, I'm like, okay.
I was literally like about to read this, and I'm like, well, how are three guys like how are three people like who don't have periods gonna comment on this? And then it starts with, hi, I'm John, a 47-year-old father of 4 on a family cruise. I'm like, he's not qualified either. Okay, all right. Hi, I'm John, 47-year-old father of 4 on a family cruise.
You're doing a voice.
Well, when you open with "Hi, I'm John,"
It's hard
like
not
there's
to do a
freeze
voice.
frame.
I'm like, really? Does this guy use Reddit? He's starting it off with hi.
He's
like,
looking into the camera right now as he's saying it.
Hi, I'm John. I'm posting here because my wife and I had a disagreement about how I handled a situation with our youngest daughter, Sarah, who is 13 years old. I admit that I may have overreacted, but I believe I had good reasons for doing so. My wife thinks I'm the asshole, but I'm not sure. Here's what happened. We were having a good time on the ship, enjoying the amenities and the sights. On the second day of the cruise, we went to the water zone, where there were several pools and jacuzzis, and a lot of other families with kids. We didn't notice that Sarah had had her period that day, and she didn't tell us either. After a while, we heard a commotion near the pool where Sarah was. We saw that she was crying and covering herself with a towel, while a lifeguard and some other guests were trying to clean up a large pool of blood. It turned out that Sarah had a period accident, and her tampon had fallen out while she was swimming. She was mortified and embarrassed, and I was furious. The used tampon was floating in the pool, and there was blood everywhere, scaring the other kids. I couldn't believe she had been so careless and unsanitary. I scolded her in front of everyone and took her out of the pool area. Once we got back to our cabin, I told Sarah that she was banned from the pools for the rest of the cruise and that she had to stay in the cabin while we went to the pool. I also took away her cruise card, which let her charge purchases to the cabin, and made her eat dinner in the main restaurant instead of the specialty restaurants where we had reservations. I also took away her life vest and threw her. I'm like, what the is this going? Sorry, I made that one up. But maybe we'll see what goes on. I emphasized that I needed to teach her a lesson about being careful and sanitary, and that she should have known better. She apologized and promised to be more careful, but I didn't trust her. The next day, when we went to breakfast, Sarah saw some staff members talking and laughing, and then one of them said something about a shark attack in the pool. I laughed along with them and said, yeah, my daughter got her period in the pool and it turned into a scene from Jaws. Sarah heard me and looked mortified again. My wife told me that I was being cruel and insensitive, but I said that it was just a joke and that Sarah needed to toughen up and not be so emotional. Since then, my wife and I have been arguing about whether I was too harsh on Sarah. She thinks that I punished her unfairly and humiliated her in front of strangers. She also thinks that I should have been more understanding and supportive, and that I should have talked to her privately instead of making a scene. I admit that I may have overreacted, but I don't think I'm the asshole. I love my daughter, but she needs to learn that actions have consequences, and that hygiene is important, especially in public places. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for punishing my daughter for having a period accident on a family cruise? This guy's number one for me now. This story kept going.
Also, just want to clarify for the people who are watching at home, for the first 20 to 30 seconds when I'm laughing, I was laughing because it was like, where the is this going?
Oh, yeah.
It's shock.
And then we get to this part. I think the last U.S. execution by firing squad was in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, no, we're doing
not that
We're bringing
long
it back.
ago.
We're bringing it
we
back.
can make that happen.
The punishment was happening actively when he showed up, and she was sobbing.
Yeah.
Her life was already ruined in that moment.
He didn't do that for her or her development. He did that for himself. He wanted to save face, and it's proven by looking at the other staff members when they were like, yeah, something happened in the pool. He's like, oh, yeah, like that girl over there. Like, he's trying to save face for himself.
I shit you not. This is a scene out of Family Guy between Peter and Meg.
Yeah.
This is 100% a cartoon.
Dude, this is a Russian dolls. Petrushkas, what are they, of trauma. You just keep going and going. It just gets worse.
Oh, an absolutely traumatic thing just happened to you? You know what? You're not going to eat for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, what the
To be locked in the cabin. Is this like the ancient Israelites where they send someone on a period to a red tent? That's what they used to do. They'd send you off.
That's what I was going to say.
They completely just set tent for like a week, and you'd go hang out with the other women who were like, hey, it's okay, it's okay. You're going to get through it. But that's what that's like. This is some ancient punishment.
That's like, this is... I said earlier I don't want to throw around the word abuse. That was extremely abusive.
Yeah.
This man should not, and he has 3 other kids. He has 3 other kids.
They're
oh God.
I also, and I've never had a period before, but she had there was a tampon involved. Like, she did everything right. This was purely an accident. He's punishing her for a full-on accident.
Because he's embarrassed.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed, and he's taking it out on her, and he has to make it that, like, don't you ever do this to me again.
Yeah.
You made this happen to me.
Dude, my God.
Again, no excuses, because obviously, but like, that's an example of like, what did you go through, sir? Where like, how traumatized were you by your parents publicly that you think that this is okay? Because that is.
Or how was his mother treated?
Yeah, really, that's a better example. Like, unfortunately, like, there is just...
Also,
God.
in regards to the situation that this is, you're starting it off with a very situation that is dealt with people who have periods, and your wife is telling you you're an asshole, and you're going, but I don't think I am.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to listen to that.
The exact guy that you're describing would say that, though.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, hey, I got this.
No.
Hey, John here, 43. Father 4.
John, 47. He also did say youngest daughter, so he has other daughters.
I didn't catch that.
You see this sometimes. There's a joke that I saw on TikTok, but it's just like, hey, you want our free game? Who's going to the retirement home?
Yes.
This guy is never going to talk to his kids. These comments say everything we're saying. You're the asshole. I promise you she didn't intend for her tampon to come out. And I can also promise you that she wishes it didn't. When she grows up and never talks to you again, this is why you're the asshole. You shamed your daughter for an accident and then punished her over it. Forget about a college fund. You should be saving for the years of therapy your poor daughter is going to need to recover from this and your treatment of her afterwards. If I was your wife, I'd be calling a divorce lawyer the second I got back to the shore. Someone else is quoting him. It was careless of her to swim on her period in the first place and not to keep us informed and not to hold the blood in when it happened. I forgot that he said that.
He said that? He said not.
How
dare you let the blood out?
How did I skip that? So I think he commented that somewhere else. So he said that somewhere along the lines. Not hold the blood in? Does he think periods work like I guarantee you should. Oh, this guy works on. I guarantee you, this guy is like on a school board council or some. I guarantee you, this guy holds some form of power.
I think you should have to take a test to be a dad.
I agree. I agree.
Like it should be like, all right, here's female anatomy. Just label 2 of the parts. Just label 2 of the parts. And if you can't
Left
do
boob,
it,
right boob.
To quote Family Guy again, it's like the doctor is like, all right, Meg, let's get a look at that virgina.
let's take a look at that virgina.
This guy is a nightmare.
This is his youngest of the kids, right? So the options are either he's done this with multiple daughters and has screwed up that many times, given them all complexes, or he's put 3 other boys into this world to learn from this example.
God,
or
no.
potentially they're non-binary, but I'm just saying in general, this dude is gonna be like generals.
These kids are gonna find the quickest opportunity to get out of his life.
Yeah, they're gonna help each other leave. Once the oldest one has somewhere to go, like you help each other leave.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna land over the wall.
That's the absolute worst.
All right.
Well, thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Just for a 5th or 6th callback, and that's the episode.
That's right.
I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a while.